Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Waves of Communication channel for another Mindset Matters video. I'm so glad you're here today. My name is Marci Melzer. I'm an intuitive speech language pathologist and language facilitation coach and consultant, and my platform, wavesofcommunication.com, equips and empowers parents and caregivers all over the world to facilitate the spoken language that you are missing. And today I have a topic for you. It is this one: alternative plans. And I decided to talk about this and call the video Alternative Plans today because of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the astrology. We're going to be talking about the top 3 videos that have to do with what's going on in the astrology and what's going on in the world right now. These mindset videos are designed to help you, as the language facilitator, deal with the world, deal with what's going on around you, so that you can be your best self, your best person, the best version of yourself to show up and facilitate the spoken language for your kids. And so, again, I just want to look really quick at the graphic that I chose, this little flippy block thing I found. I really love that because right now in the world, if you're not feeling it, I'm surprised, especially if you're the kind of person that watches these videos, you are feeling the change, the need to change. The change is coming. We have a lot of planets right now, digging into the astrology, that are retrograde. Saturn is retrograde. Jupiter is retrograde. Neptune is retrograde. Chiron is retrograde. The North Node is looking retrograde. And we've got Mercury going retrograde in the next month and Mars going retrograde towards the end of the year. And when we have a lot of planets looking like they're going backwards, especially Pluto and, these planets that cause us to think about the big ones, Saturn, the foundations of your life. And then we also just had this massive big triple conjunction in Taurus, which is the North Node and Mars and Uranus. And with this kind of volatility, that's what's happening. Volatility, and the secrets are being revealed. So we're seeing it in the world right now with all of the changes that are happening in government. We've got changes in Europe happening. We've got big changes, obviously, in the eastern part of the world. We've got big changes in even in South Asia. We've got big changes in the United States as far as our big important elections and the people who used to be able to sort of run and put the puppet strings for the rest of us that we sort of had no control over in our world. All of those things are breaking down. And what's happening is everyone on an individual basis, you're understanding what you do have control over in your life. There are things in all of our lives when we live in a society that are outside of our control. And I think more and more of those things that we used to give up, our control, our responsibility, our things, we relied on systems to pay, systems to do, systems to all of that stuff for us, give us things that I think are now we're showing maybe those things that just we were relying on outside of ourselves are not so available right now. Food chain shortages and chip shortages and arguments over who's going to make them and distribute them and sell them, and all of those things are going on with all of this volatility. And let's dial it way down into your life, with your house, with your late talker. Is it volatile? Are you seeing things that used to work for you not work anymore? Things that were available to you not available anymore? And are you seeing maybe your child hit a certain level and they've got resources they've learned from you and around the other place? Because with language facilitation, you're teaching your child to be part of the world, to learn from everyone. We're getting ready to send kids back to school. Parents could be freaking out about the change of what that's going to be looking like, the new plan you have going. You might not know what it's going to look like, and you're hopeful, or you're trying to make plans, or you're trying to, whatever you're trying to do. My advice and what I'm doing in my world is I'm riding this out. I'm paying attention. You have to pay attention right now to what is working and what isn't, and be willing to let that stuff go if it's not working for you, even if it's the only thing you got. You've got to be willing, when all of this stuff is going on, to step into the new now. Because remember, it's now every minute. It was now yesterday, but it's not now anymore. It's not that. Reality's not even existent anymore. It was yesterday. Today is different. Tomorrow will be different still, but you don't even know what that is. But what you do know is now, what's happening now. And so what I'm going to talk about with as far as resources for you, about why now is so important, that you pay attention to what's happening now, because what you learn now will guide you to create your own future, co-create your own future with your child. The new now. Remember, we said after the pandemic, we were going to be in a new normal. It's still evolving. It doesn't happen overnight. Species don't evolve overnight. Systems don't evolve overnight. There is a slow breaking down until big chunks fall off of the old systems to be the point where they're not effective anymore. And people have to create new ones from the ground up. That's what's happening all over the world. People are realizing that they don't want to rely on things outside of themselves. So how do you create a new plan that's going to be working for you? Let's talk about the videos, the top 3 videos that I have for you. But wait a minute. Before I do that, while I've got people watching, I forgot that I needed to make a big announcement today. Oh my goodness, all of this progress that's moving forward is reminding me that of what people are looking at for me. So I'm getting a lot of comments, and when I travel or when I go places, and also even on the videos, and even emails that I get from people who are interested in meeting me, saying hello, seeing that I'm real, maybe asking me a question or two about your late talker. And for those of you who live in Dallas, Texas, USA, in that area, this month, the month of August 2022, you will have that opportunity. So I am traveling to Dallas for the Podcast Movement Conference. It's a really big conference that's happening in Dallas because Dallas has a very big convention center, and that's where we're going to be, at the Kay Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center on August 24th, 2022, from 8:30 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. So it's just a morning, a few hours that I am carving out from my conference, where I'm learning how to improve my YouTube channel, improve my podcast, bring more value to you as an audience. And I know that you want to meet me. I know you want to say hi. And that's what these sort of conferences are kind of about. And I'm hoping to meet other personalities that I can connect and bring on the channel to share with all of you. So if you are interested in meeting me in person, please send me an email. Right here is my email, Marci@wavesofcommunication.com. If you are interested in meeting me in person, go ahead and send me an email, Marci@wavesofcommunication.com, and I'll give you the lowdown. I'll show you where to meet me. We'll be in communication about when it's going to happen and where exactly it will be, because I don't know all the details, and it's going to be a very impromptu pop-up meetup, but I'm going to be there. I'm going to be talking about waves of communication. I'm going to be signing books. I'm going to be giving out stickers. I'm going to be talking to people about their experience, and potentially you could record with me, because I'm also going to be recording at this event. So definitely, I want to meet you. So if you're in the Dallas area, connect with me that way. All right, now let's get into today's top 3 videos for the week of, this is the August 3rd week, but it doesn't really matter. Whenever you watch this video, if you are feeling like the real need for a change in your environment, and maybe here's why. So the first video I have for you, of course, the links for these are in the description. Oops, this is the second video. I guess we'll start with this one. It's turned touching into talking. Teaching social communication with physical distance. So I made this video when the pandemic started, and it reminded me about all the late talkers who communicate physically. So a lot of late talkers communicate visually. They'll do things. They drag you. That's a physical. But a visual communication is pointing and showing you things and bringing you stuff. But when they physically guide you to do things, and they show their emotions physically too, they might meet their friends and they want to touch their face or touch their clothes because they don't know how to explore through discussion and Q&A and those kinds of things. They don't have language to use for that skill, so they use physical things. Now, this is one of the things. We're getting ready to go back to school and be together with other community learning experiences, which is important for all the families that are working with your late talkers. You want to get your kids ready to go learn in a community experience, and especially during the pandemic, but even now, their kids don't want to be touched by other kids. You want to teach your child how to evolve that communication from touching into speech. And that video will give you practical strategies if that's what's going on in your child. Now, the first video that I wanted to share with you is this one. Help your child transition when fun time is over, because it could be that you've gotten into some new fun habits about how you spend your time this summer, about access to treats and playing outside in the water every day and, doing all those kinds of things. And as school starts, you might not have room in your schedule to do those things, or you might need to do different things because you're helping your child transition from one fun thing, which is your summer activities, into another fun thing, which should be their school, right? Because if they're looking at school with dread, then they're not going to have a successful year. It's up to you to prepare these kids to get ready to go into new experiences that they're not sure about. And that's why tomorrow's video, we're going to be talking about back to school strategies. And one of them that I'm just letting you know right now is this third video, and it's this one. So let's say your late talker is not very interested in books. Books are a big indicator for schools to see how independent your child is learning. Does your child know how to learn by picking up a book and reading information or looking at pictures? Does your child know how to learn by listening to teachers read stories? Because books are all part of school. Even if you're homeschooling, you're using books, and facilitating effective interaction and teaching through using books as your modality is what that video teaches you how to do. So it starts from, even if your child doesn't like books, if they're the kid that just throws them around or tears them up, and you've been trying to introduce them, that video will help you. Even if your child is on their own using books and they're only just labeling pictures and they're stuck at that level, this video will show you how to elevate their book experience. Because remember, with language facilitation, you're doing new experiences every day. And you, as the facilitator, are responsible to create the plan. In the workbook, we talk about the itinerary, which it's just really a grid for you to fill in. I talk about the opportunity creation formula, but what it is really is every single day, you have the opportunity, using just a simple schedule like this, to identify the times of day that you are going to facilitate independence. And I talked about how to do that on a video just last week. So working on facilitating independence with your late talker, this is what there is going to help them succeed at school, right? And independence and learning with books, and how to learn cooperatively. That's also going to help them learn at school. Do things on their own so that they can learn cooperatively. They can show up to be a team player, a team member, a class member at the school, instead of just the kid who needs the one-on-one attention from the parent. So they aren't, or from the teacher, because they've been getting so much, they've depended on you as their one-on-one guide. This is true like for the schools that are outside of the US, where they say you can't send your child unless you send an aide with them, because they're not independent and the teacher isn't able to be one-on-one with the child, okay? So definitely tune in tomorrow. I'm just going to put my little graphic up here. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern to watch the video about school, back to school speech readiness to get your child ready. Your late talker, you're putting them into a new experience where you're expecting them to shift their learning from you to the teacher. And that's how they are successful, and then come home and tell you everything so that you can help them be more successful at school. So we're going to be talking about that. All right, now we're going to move into the last part of the video, which is where I get out my language facilitation inspiration cards. And I don't have any Q&A for talking about today because, like I said, I myself am looking at new systems where I'm going to be getting going. I'm looking at new ways to meet people in person, new ways to connect via email, to remind people, like a newsletter that I'm looking to put together. I am developing these retrograde times. It doesn't mean that right now is the time always to jump into action. I'm not saying don't. I'm saying you jump into action when you feel you are ready. If you need more information, if you need more guidance, if you need more practice with your strategies, you might just need a little bit more time with what you're doing now, even to figure out if it's working, how it's working, what's not. Because unless you as the facilitator have that knowledge in you, yep, when I do this, I know I can see better outcomes. And when I do this, I get that negative response that I don't like. Once you understand this about yourself and your language models at least 4 times a day where you show up, that's when you're going to know what to do. If right now you don't know what to do, you have to start with a plan and baby step actions that you can do every day. You make it so easy you can't fail. If you make it too hard for yourself, you'll fail, you'll quit, you won't go back to it. Easy, happy, safe, and fun. If it's not fun for you as the facilitator, then it's not going to work long term. You'll quit. Nobody can sustain a job they hate long term. And this is a lifelong job as a language facilitator. You want to pass off the responsibility of learning to your child, but not until they're ready to pick it up. And they'll pick it up bit by bit through the levels in the workbook. Okay, let's pull a card for anybody who is watching on the replay, or those of you who are watching and don't want to make a comment. This is the energy from the late talkers. Remember, these cards, these are my language facilitation inspiration cards, and they are all about the messages from the late talkers. What are the late talkers feeling with all of the volatility that's going around, all the systems breaking down, all the truths coming out about the reality of what this is going to be? Is this school going to be the super fun, exciting experience you wanted, or is someone going to try to control your child? Is it going to be the wonderful learning that you can be part of as a parent, and that your child's going to learn things at school that help them in their life at home? Or is the school teaching your child to teach them things that are just going to help them be better at school that you don't even understand how it works in your house, right? That's where this gap bridges the gap, where these kids are like, all right, I learned this at school and this is how I do at home. So here's a general one. Here it is right here. It says, tell me what you love about me. You can see right through it because it's green. The back of this is green, so it's definitely not going to show up. And it says, teach loving words. So right now, I'm getting the vibe I'm getting off of this is that your late talker just needs to understand, because remember, they're feeling all the volatility from the changes that are going on, just like you. You know something's coming. I do too. I know something's coming. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but I just know if I show up and do my best every day, doing my job, the things that I know are getting me on my mission. This is North Node retrograde after this big conjunction. Do you know where you're going? Do you know what direction you are heading? And do you know how to get there? If you don't, now is the time to investigate and figure out and why, and let this child involved in the process. Let them join you in your exploration, because they are going to tell you what works through their connection with you. If they look at you and smile and engage with you when you talk to them, you're on the right track. If you see them darting away or avoiding you or can't wait to be done with this book or this thing or this whatever, then it's time for you to leave those things behind and make a change. Okay, now is the time to try these new things, and you have to be brave enough to give it a go. Just try. That's why the workbook creates these things that are so easy. And your late talker wants you to talk about how you want them to join you. So you teach them loving words when they frequently, and this is all caps, frequently, hear kind, complimentary statements about their behavior. They learn the words they need as well as the appropriate social moment to spread light to others. These kids want to be part of the world. And they want to know how to do that. They want to know how to tell other people they love their cake, or they love this game they're playing, or I can't wait to go to school, because that's how they're going to tell you what they love so that you let them do it more. And the more they do the things they love, the better they get at them, the more their confidence builds, and the better they get at doing things that they don't love because they've got the skills they learned from you, okay? Encourage kind speech by taking time every day to describe the late talker's unique abilities and personality traits that make you smile and make you feel happy. You're so cheeky. You're so brave. You're so handsome. You look just like your father, and that's why I love you. You know what I mean? There's all these reasons that you love the late talker. Dig in and talk to them about these reasons. When they understand why you love them and how much you love them, they'll work harder for you because it's win-win. One mom in my program, she was really struggling with her late talker in this learned helplessness, basically. He was so prompt dependent. He was getting a lot of stuff done, but this mom was exhausted because she was teaching. Okay, now do this. Okay, now you got to do this. Okay, now you got to do this. Don't forget to do that. Don't forget. It was just over helicoptering almost everything he was doing. And instead of saying, wow, look at how great you're doing, this is so amazing, and teaching him to be independent. And now this late talker loves doing things like making his parents milkshakes. He doesn't even like these milkshakes, but he loved the experience. His mom invited him to join her and told him how appreciative she was that he made her milkshake for her. Even though he doesn't like it, she appreciated him, and he wants to feel that appreciation. So every day now he wants to make her milkshake. Can we make your milkshake now, Mom? Because he wants to feel empowered. I can do this. I could do it all by myself. Should I make it for you? And this one requires chopping and things like that, so she doesn't want him to do it on his own. But other things, he's taking care of his own snacks. He's taking care of his own things because she empowered him to be independent. She used the video I did last week, and she said, all right, I know he's already sort of good at this and this and this and this. These 5 things. She took 5 things and she started focusing on those 5 things. And in 2 weeks, he got 3 out of the 5. Independent, where she doesn't have to coach him at all. Where before it was do this and now do this and now do this and now do this. Just because she told him how much she loves that he is taking initiative, guess what he's doing? Taking initiative and doing it on his own. And when you want these kids to show up at school looking like school kids ready to learn, this is how you want them to show up. What do I have to do here? Not what do I have to do here, right? It's a whole different mindset that you are trying to facilitate with these late talkers. And it's just as easy as telling them how they're loved, how much you love them, and how much you love how much they're trying. You understand their struggle. Every day is a struggle. Okay, so here's Lila. I'm so glad, sending you love and light. Well, let's pull a card for your family. I know that you have been doing a lot of deep diving over the past couple weeks because I haven't seen you posting about your experiences, which is great. I love that you're doing all this work on your own and you are figuring out what works for you, because what works for other people might not work for you, especially if, like Lila, you have a really super unique situation. Her child's been diagnosed with something that no other kid, very few other kids have. So she's flying blind. But what she's doing is using her intuition to learn from her child, using all the knowledge she's got from all the learning she's had from all the professionals she's worked with literally all over the country. And now taking time to figure out how does that relate to her relationship with her child. And that's what I love about your situation, Lila. And that's why you're going to do well. Here's your card for you. It says this one. Let's hug it out. Let's hug it out. So in this situation, you see a little bit like there was a problem. There was fighting. There was, I know for a fact that there was some pressure and pushing and trying to figure out the balance. It takes a minute to try to figure out the balance and how much to push your child in their motivation, right? How much tough love is necessary? How much cheerleading, come on, you can do it is necessary versus it's too hard for them. Remember, when you keep the tasks super easy, it doesn't take much encouragement for them to do it. And once they accomplish easy things, their confidence improves, and pretty soon they're doing hard things and they're showing you that they want to work hard. I did an interview yesterday with a gal who said she was watching her child roller skating. They went roller skating for the first time, and it was the first time at a rink with these skates, and it was slippery. And her daughter, the look on her face was like this determined, she was gonna make this skating. And from the mom's perspective, this kid was struggling. She was having a really hard time to figure out whatever, all that's going on. And she said, well, are you ready to go home? And she's like, no, I am having fun. And so even in her struggle, it was fun for this little girl. And it was so enlightening to me, because here's a talker, right? A kid who's actually vocal, who was able to share her experience about, I am happy in my struggle because I am developing something I love. They will choose to work hard when they see the value in their efforts. And this is what I know about you, the people who are watching me. When you see the true value in your actions, you won't stop doing it. It's when you're not sure, am I doing this? Should I do this or not? And of course, you can't find out if it's good or not unless you try. And that's the mindset trap. I don't know if I want to try. If it's, I might fail. You might fail. You might. It's trial and error, but you're going to learn. You won't learn unless you try. So that's it. And she says it's the truth, right? Because that's how we learn through life. If you're flying blind, we're all flying a little blind with this astrology. You don't have to have a child with a rare disease to be unsure of your future, right? I had a conversation, a phone conversation, a strategy session with a family that is ready for coaching. They have had 3 therapists in their child's life. And when they described their child's communication to me, it was clear to me that this child's hearing had not been sufficiently evaluated. He did not have fluid in his ears, but they never tested his hearing acuity. And when they showed me examples of this child's speech and his behavior, he didn't have any of these sensory things going on. He didn't have any isolation. He just had a lot of hyper visualization going on. And the speech that was coming out was garbage, because garbage in, garbage out. And he was using his eyes because his ears weren't working. And three speech pathologists with licenses that this family paid privately evaluated this child to be having autism within the first day of seeing him. And then, or apraxia or whatever. None of these people said to look at this child's ears. And I told him, I said, you know what, I want you in my coaching program. I'm ready to have you here, but not until you go to the audiologist. Get a proper hearing test for this child, because if it's not a hearing loss, then the auditory processing is affected, or we've got to find out why we are in the position we are. Physical, environmental, and mindset. And don't give up one physical choice if, like I said, his ears are fine. Do you know he can hear? When you know the child can hear, then you can start looking these other places. But don't let people sway you, because they get more money with the autism. There's a lot more stuff for working with kids with autism than working with kids with hearing aids, right? With kids with hearing aids, all you have to do is put amplification on and do language facilitation. With kids with sensory neural hearing loss, hearing aids are amazing these days, but you're never going to get one unless you evaluate what's wrong with your child, right? You've got to find out. That's what's going on right now. The truth is being revealed. These misdiagnoses, parents are not settling for it. I know. You're on my platform telling me. Okay? So Lila, let's hug it out means let's start over. It's the reset button. That's what you see right here is the reset button. Let's just start again. Because now that you've had a chance to renumerate all these planets in retrograde, now that you've had a chance to think about your experience, what you've been through, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And this is true for everybody. Once you've had a moment to think about it and you separate yourself from I gotta do to really take a minute. And it might be a 2-week minute. But that 2 weeks period of time, you'll learn so much about yourself and your situation that you'll come out of that with the knowledge to do a proper reset. It says forgive and learn. Late talkers need reassurance that you still love them, especially when their behavior causes you to be frustrated and react with yelling or punishment, or your behavior causes them to react and swat you or hit you or yell at you, right? Because they feel like you're trying to control them or you feel like they're trying to control you, and then y'all react. Just set the reset button. Take a timeout. Stop, drop, and roll. Apologize for your reactions. They didn't come from the you that is your star player, right? Offer hugs and hold quiet space where you're not offering solutions and you should do. If you didn't do, you did, and but your behavior was, and blah, blah, judgment, blah, blah, blah. Quiet. Stop. Drop to their level. And then roll ahead with, are you ready to move on? Are you ready to move on together? Where we can start with easy things I know that we'll both enjoy doing every day. And I know, Lila, that your little guy works hard every single day because, yeah, he knows he's been given this gift of the biggest challenge ever that we don't know, this, blind alley of whatever's happening. But yeah, that's it. Okay, let's get a card over here. Moving on. Let's get a card for you. From your kid. I'm going to say instead of for your kid, I'm pulling a card from your kid. So this is the message. Raziek, I don't know how to say it. Anyway, whatever you want me to call you. Oops, it's sticking out right here. It's a blue one. It says model malfunctions. So your late talker, look at this. Look at this boy watching his dad. And he's smiling and he's looking at his mouth and it says, I'm watching you talk. It says model malfunctions. So late talkers watch you as you talk to get a reference point before they practice moving their own mouth to say new words that they haven't learned before. You might see your late talker mouthing words when they're by themselves, or when they're on their own, or when they're with you in front of you while you're talking sort of in choral with you. Especially these kiddos who've had ear fluid in the past and you've got that corrected. It's Grace. Thanks. It's Grace. So we're putting a card for Grace's little one. And yeah, I think that's the deal, is your late talker loves hearing your models, but also likes seeing your face. So all the strategies: hold objects near your mouth, hold things up here while you're talking, and look side by side in the mirrors, side by side, or when you're looking at something in the store, notice yourself. Watch videos of yourself talking with your late talker. Repeat phrases slowly when the late talker is looking. I tend to point toward my mouth sometimes. Are you listening to me? Because I know that, a lot of people are like, are you using your ears? But remember, late talkers who have had a history of some kind of hearing loss, either due to fluid, even if it's temporary, they naturally fall into the habit of using their eyes as a helper. And when you say, like, listen to the exact words that I say or the words that I'm thinking, and when you point to your mouth while you say, listen to me, right? You are encouraging them to use all of their listening senses, right? Because remember, these kids are absorbing from their telepathic, intuitive connection with you. I know my mom's going to say this. She always says this. They know that about you. Just like you know things about them, they know things about you. And when you show up and actually say that thing out loud, it's like, thank you. My mom's, if I'm playing with my trains, I know my language facilitator mom's going to come in here and say, oh, take advantage of the opportunity, right? Wow, you're playing trains. I want to watch you playing with trains. Let's talk about how the trains move. Show me that one. Wow, that's amazing. You are the best train engineer. And I fixed my talking and I got slow and I, excuse me, got specific with it. Excuse me, let me take a drink. And that's what your child is watching, not just listening to the exact way you're saying it, getting clues from your gestures and from your mouth and from your eye contact and your expressions on your face. Oh, wow. You're going to see your kids picking up because all of it's communication. Every time you point, every time you go, come clean up, right? Every time you do those repetitive kinds of expressions, your late talker's learning with their whole body, especially these late ones, because they need it. They might not have had ears available to them to learn very well. So that's what's going on. All right, let's see. She says, I was pushing the cooking with mom too much and I backed it off. And today he asked me to help him make a peanut butter and jelly. There you go. That's exactly how it rolls, you guys. They will come to you when you back off and hold space. And they'll say, let's talk about this. And then you just have to put on your proud hat and say, I did this. I facilitated this. I created the attractive lesson, the attractive place for my late talker to show up, because that's all they need to do is show up, and you just model and encourage, and then you hand over as much as you can right away. Can you try this? Can you help me with this? Can you turn this? Can you pour this? Can you tear this? Can you hold this? Can you carry this? Thank you. I appreciate you so much. I couldn't do it without you. Right? That's the mom guilt that your mom used on you to get you to do things for her. Right? It's what it is empowerment at the same time, because your mom knows that you want to be a helper and you know your late talker wants to be your helper too. Okay, so Jolly is here. Jolly, hi. Let's pull a card from your late talker. Oops, this is one right on top. It says, take me shopping. Take me shopping. Maybe your late talker is learning so much at home that they want to practice their new skills out in the world. So when we talk about take me shopping, it's all about from the idea of we need food. That's when you connect with the late talker and you start to talk about, wow, this was the last drop of milk. Oh no, we don't have any milk. Now we're on a mission, right? Why you have to go to the store. What else are we out of? Oh no, we only have 2 more cookies. I better make a list for the grocery, right? And then you are involving your late talker in the whole process. Your late talker wants to be more a part of your family. If they're asking you to involve them in stuff like shopping, it says here, teach about resources. Late talkers learn valuable language when you involve them in your process of acquiring the family's everyday necessities. Like I said, it's the process of it. How do you even know what your daily necessities are unless you run out of milk? Oh no, well, we use milk every day. And then when you go to the store and you're shopping, like window shopping, and then you see something, ooh, this looks good, you get ideas at the store. And at the store, you could talk about your ideas with this late talker, and they love that, because even if you don't have anything new in your house, even if you don't buy the things at the store, when you're window shopping, you talk about what you like about it or what you wish you could have it, or maybe that you don't, okay? Talk specifically about the items that you are lacking at home and the process to buy or make more. Where do we get milk? Where do we get cookies, right? Where do we get water? All of those things might be, there's a way to get these things, a way to access them. How do we involve the late talker? Because this is teaching massive responsibility, right? They won't just ask you for things that you don't have anymore. They'll understand that it's literally not available. And they'll start telling you things like go to the store. Maybe your late talker's doing that. Maybe they're already saying things like go to the store because they know you're out of their favorite thing, you know? Now talk about how you feel when you find what you're looking for and it's on sale, or you find what you're looking for but it's too expensive, right? Because both of those situations really happen. One of them says, I can't wait. I'm going to make this new chicken curry. My favorite spice was available. It hasn't been in store for 2 years. And they finally got a shipment in. We're going to make my favorite meal with this thing. Excitement about your future versus then you look at it and you go, oh my goodness, it is far outside of our budget. Oh, what a bummer. Well, I learned something from not having it and I can substitute this other one and it's less expensive. So I guess we'll go with that. Or, you know what? I've been saving my money and I don't care. I'm going to splurge and get it. All of those things that you're thinking through in your mind about why you decide to do the things or not do the things that you do. This is what your late talker who asks you to go shopping is wanting you to teach them. High level stuff. This is how you move a child from level 4 to level 5, is you take them out in the world on missions where just like you're running an errand to the dry cleaners or the market, or maybe you've got to go to 2 or 3 different places where you live, and each one you go for a different reason. A lot of people do that. You know what I mean? So, or you go to one store like we've got here in the United States, these big conglomerate stores, but then you have a process. You know, first we go with the clothes part, or we go with the toiletries part, or we go with the food part, or we go with the whatever part, you know. We're going to want to look at all these departments of the store. Then that's your mission, right? So this is what I'm getting for you guys, that as far as you have a new plan, when you have a new plan, this is your last chance. Let me know right now. Last chance. I'll put one more card for everybody who's watching, just a final one, unless they get one more comment in, and then we'll pop off of here. These mindset matters are when I get to rant a little bit about and let you guys know about what's happening in the world. So, you know, again, I want to be as accessible as possible to as many parents as possible. And I just only have so many resources to be able to do that for you. That's why I've made everything available. And then if you're interested in coaching and working with me, that's when you visit wavesofcommunication.com. The links to the workbooks, the links to some top videos are there, you know, all of that. So let's put one more card for everybody and then I'll boogie out of here. The message for everybody else who made it to the end of the video. Connect me with animals. What another great opportunity for facilitating independence, right? So if you have a dog or cat in your home, or a pet of any kind in your home, having your child help take the responsibility for the care, what an amazing, consistent job. I mean, you have to feed the pet every day. You have to clean up after the pet every day. You have to give it exercise. You have to play with it. It gives you love. They do unpredictable things. You know, they might eat your dinner or do, you know, those things that you don't want them to do. Animals offer amazing opportunities. I have a mom who used a kitty, got her little guy a kitty, a 9-year-old late talker, and that was the first topic that he wanted to actually have conversation about, was the care of his cat and how he wanted to do it and be independent for that job because he loved that cat so much. So connect me with animals. It says animal communication on the back. Natural nonverbal connection with animals helps late talkers learn how to intuitively understand the needs of others that we care for. Because remember, a lot of these late talkers are very in their own. I need you to care for me. Maybe you have been anticipating this late talker's needs for a long time. This is one of the things that holds them back from moving forward. And so help the late talker interpret the animal's needs by watching and describing their behavior. Look, he's standing by his bowl. I think that means he's hungry. Let's feed him and see what happens. You put the food in the bowl and wow, he's gobbling that food. He was really hungry. So now we know when the dog comes to sit by his bowl, he's really hungry. And in fact, that's how we train dogs too. We train them to give us signals that they have to go out or that they're hungry or that they do whatever, but we have to teach them what those signals are. We have to watch them give us signals, or we have to train them with signals that we reward them with. That's how animals are trained. And late talkers often will respond to that because they see how happy the animal is when you give them what they want, and they see how upset the animal is when they are over controlled or ignored. Okay? So tell stories of the animal's life while you show them how to properly care for and respect pets and wildlife. So you can see on this picture, here's this boy learning how to train, learning how to teach that dog to sit, and the dog's not grabbing the food out of its hand, is learning how to wait, and the dad's teaching the child how to train the animal. And isn't it interesting how sometimes, you know, the students are the best teachers, and a lot of times late talkers will find themselves facilitating independent skills, including speech, with younger siblings and their pets. So that's why you got your last thing for anybody who stuck it around to the end to watch for this video. If you have a dog or a cat at home, they want to be part of your language facilitation world, because remember, your animals are just another being in your world to connect with. And they are definitely part of your family and should be part of your language facilitation journey. So that's it for today. Definitely tune in tomorrow, everybody. We're going to be talking about back to school language facilitation, what you've got to do with your late talker to make a plan to get them back into school with ease and grace so they learn a ton and come home and grow up to be big, independent kids, right? That's what we want. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye for now. And I'll see you in Dallas.